What's up everyone? We're playing some Golden Pack Arena today, hoping to get a fun run in. Let's hop right in. And we have a pretty decent start it seems with double Magpie plus an Opossum. I think this is the positioning that is going to be the best for us. Maybe even save one gold for the next turn, I think it's most efficient to do. Because then we would not have to freeze anything and therefore not wasting a shop slot. Here it seems like we will be just fine, which is just perfect. What am I hoping to do today? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, but I think this can be a pretty good 5 of a kind Magpie if the game is going to be treating us like this, and we can even roll over 4 gold into the next turn without suffering any consequences because we drew last turn. So I quite enjoyed this build already. Question is, where do we want to take it? This might even be a victory, who knows? It is a loss by 1 HP, but it does not really matter. In fact, I would actually prefer it to be a loss because then we can take the game even later. But yeah, let's take a level up right now, see what we get. It is a Weasel plus a Flea. I could go 5 of a kind of either of these. But I think we are going to go for the Weasel in particular. I think it's going to be more consistent. It works with Bird of Paradise even better than the Flea does. So we freeze the entire shop. We sell this stuff onto the Weasel. We can buy a sea turtle if we want to. Other than that, what are we really looking for? Like Stoat would not be horrible because we can sell it into a Babusi on turn 5. Other than that, like maybe an African penguin for the extra 1 attack on the Weasel. I don't think it's highly relevant. Maybe we just do end up taking a sea turtle instead. So yeah, we can even take an apple and pass the turn, getting 3 gold for the next turn. I don't think that's a good idea. Like with this kind of build, you want to be surviving a lot early game, and for that reason I'm even going to buy the stealth over the magpies. So yeah, hopefully this gets us to a win or at least a draw, and next turn we can start thinking about grading some gold onto turn 5, which is going to be incredible for us. It seems like we will be winning even without the help of this stealth, even though it is appreciated. So I think we honestly do this and then buy apple and then roll for another apple when buy that as well. I think we can afford to buy one more apple if we get it on the next roll. Instead we buy cherries, which we don't really need. So we can just sell turtle in favor of another magpie. And we have a very good gold foundation. We can roll over 3 gold for the next turn. It means like that we most likely lose this turn, however, but if we do get lucky, I think we can still pull off a win. This doesn't look too horrible, to be honest with you. We are 1 attack off on the magpie in order to claim a draw, so kind of unfortunate, but now we do get to level up and hopefully it is into a sea lion. Slug and cuttlefish, both of which are alright. Most of the time you would be more excited to see a slug because it synergizes better with the other pets that you have in the pack, like the poison dart frog and the secretary bird. But I think because we are not planning on keeping the pet for long, I think actually the cuttlefish would be the better choice for us, hopefully getting us a draw or 2. And we're hoping to see another tier 3 before we start buying the lettuces, preferably another Weasel. We find a Stoat. Do we take it? I think we can take it certainly, but we do have to sacrifice some value. Like we are rolling over some gold into the next turn and we are missing out on some lettuce value. We can purchase a fig if we are feeling desperate, but I kind of like this team. I think this is pretty good. We can afford to greed a little bit. And next turn we can potentially sell this stealth in favor of another Weasel. Here the cuttlefish gets us a great breakpoint, which we would not have gotten if we had taken the slug. And our wish comes to fruition as we find yet another Weasel. Now we can start spamming lettuces, and we even have a level up for the next turn. So we do this, and we do this, and we freeze the stoat and hopefully find an avocado or something. Either avocado or lettuce would be quite appealing to purchase. We find neither. We do find one avocado, which I think is going to be the play for us. And then the magpie will get to roll over that final bit of gold, and then we will have a level up plus a tier 4 level 2 unit, which can hopefully be a sea lion. It can be like a manatee, both of which are absolutely ideal for us. Here we get a horrible breakpoint, so we end up losing, which is alright. We are going to take our level now, and it is going to be a blue-ringed octopus most likely, because it's going to scale up the weasels. Let's sell this first, however, and see what we are going to get. Secretary bird at level 2. Honestly quite interesting, even though we don't have the summons. I think it's still worth keeping around. And maybe sell the magpie now. Like, we can buy the blue-ringed octopus, and every future avocado and waffle we are going to be buying as well. This is a quite funny level up, but I don't think we need it. Banana would have been so insane had we found a manatee from the stoat sale, but I can't really complain with the result that we did get. Here we also find the cockatoo, which I think we're going to pass up on just because the blue-ringed octopus is better overall. We can buy this, maybe even freeze this for a potential level up. Once again, we pass up on the cockatoo because there is a chance that it hits the cuttlefish, which we are not really planning on keeping. Another waffle is good news though. This build is looking very good. Yeah, this guy is going to be having a chance only because of the figs, and even then he's too weak that he doesn't even take out the weasels that we have, which is actually horrible news for us. We can recover though. We did purchase double avocado, which is good. We can purchase a manatee as well if we want to keep improving the stat line of the team, but I think that will come naturally as we find the bird of paradise, so let's just focus on level ups instead. We seem to be finding none. To be fair though, we are only rolling for a single pet out of like 40, so it's not super likely, but I would expect to have gotten at least one more. Or at least like a waffle or an avocado. Kind of unfortunate what happened here, but it's fine. We can continue onwards. And this is the kind of build that you can very easily pivot away from actually. Very unfortunate mat, very unfortunate breakpoints, and we end up losing as a result. We're down to 2 hearts, so kind of vulnerable we're starting to become. But we do find double silver fox, which is another good 5 of a kind potential target. I think Weasel is going to be better for us though, so we just buy waffle. If we do end up finding level 2 blue-ringed octopus relatively early, I'm going to be super happy as well. Vulture synergizes with Weasel, but we don't really care about that. We don't really care about the sea lion either. We're playing for the high roll, which in this situation would be the bird of paradise, which I guess we can take by doing this. Do we take a level on the cuttlefish, or do we go for a level on one of the weasels or the blue-ringed octopus? I think this is going to be better just because exactly we can take this, and we already have one chocolate prepared for it. So if we don't lose this upcoming round, we're going to be very happy, because then we can start scaling to the moon. This is looking like a very scary team though, so I don't have high hopes. But as it turns out, we do actually end up winning, and we even get the extra gold out of the weasels as well. It turns out we could have gotten a level up manually with the cuttlefish, but there's no way we could have known that, so we're just going to sell one of these. I'm not really sure which one I want to be selling. Maybe the blue-ringed octopus right now, and buy this. I think I'm even going to sell the secretary bird because I don't want the buffs to be going to it instead of the weasel, so we just do this. we buy an avocado. If we find another chocolate, we're extremely happy. I don't think it's super likely that we do though. We can take a stoat in order to sell it for next turn. We can find a bird of paradise or an oyster. That is a potential play we could make. I can freeze it. If we don't find the chocolate, I think I will end up buying it. Okay. So we do this. It absorbs one of the buffs, which is what we didn't want to see, but I think it was more likely than not that it would. So we are not too upset. And next turn it's going to give us 2 extra gold with the double sell that it's going to provide to us. This is scary looking. Ink is not good enough to save us, we're down to 1 heart. But if we do find a chocolate or a bird of paradise, we're going to be extremely happy. So let us try our luck. It is a level 2 bird of paradise, you always take the stoat. Into an oyster. The funny thing about this pack is that you can potentially get to 350/50s on turn 9 even. Or I guess it would have to be turn 11 and not turn 9, because you can keep rolling into oysters and getting triggers on the bird of paradise. So that is kind of fun to think about. We can even take another bird of paradise, maybe go 5 of a kind bird of paradise. Okay, fair enough. We get the good hits. We get a level 2 second bird of paradise. I don't think it's worth it. We can do this. Actually, take a look at this neat little trick. You can see how this counter is up to 5, right? And this is only up to 2. If you combine this way, the 2 onto the 5, I believe what is going to end up happening is that, yeah, now we keep the 5 counter and we're closer to triggering yet another set of buffs. So that is quite nice. We get to buff once again. I don't think we want to be buying cockatoos. We would rather find a chocolate or Arthur'd Weasel, both of which are extremely good to see. And yeah, now is the difficult part. Eventually we're going to have to say goodbye to this cuttlefish right here, but I don't think it's going to be on this turn. It can be as soon as we find a cockatoo or a oyster. Let's see how relevant it's going to be first of all though. Like, we might still need it for sure in order to be winning, but I think our scaling is extremely good as it is right now. He's getting lots of trumpets, and we're just barely going to win by 1 HP, so that tells me that the cuttlefish is still sorely needed. But at the same time, this is yet another weasel. Am I really going to pass it up? I think instead of passing it up, I might just combine it into one of these weasels that we already have on the team. And the reason is because, like, I think we want to be including weasel number 4 and weasel number 5 later after we get these all statted up, and the reason is because we want to be keeping a slot open for potential oysters. The argument is, however, do we still sell in order to focus the buffs onto the weasels? It's going to be extremely greedy if we do, but we can try our luck, sure, I don't mind it too much. We can do avocado purchase. I'm going to freeze roll this once, or am I? Is it really worth it? We can actually do this same play that we did just now with the bird of paradise combination trick, but it's going to save us only 1 gold worth of triggers. I don't think it's worth it. Instead, we're just going to buy this. Come on, let us see the oysters now. Nope, none of these are good. Oyster is extremely good, however, it's going to absorb a buff most likely, but I think it's still worth purchasing because it will give us yet another round of buffs. Yep, it did end up absorbing one of the buffs, it's fine. Actually, will it give us yet another trigger? I don't think it will. I think that might have been a mistake. We can just buy the crane to make sure that we win the round though. It's going to give us 1 extra gold for next turn as well, which I think is going to be worth it. And yeah, hopefully as many of the weasels die as possible while still retaining our chance of winning. It seems like the crane was useless, but we end up winning regardless, so it's not really too much of a loss. We can now sell the crane eventually when we're near a trigger of the Bird of Paradise, which we are getting dangerously close to right now. I think we can afford to get this chocolate right here. Roll one more time before selling the crane. Yep, now we have to sell it. Buy the avocado for extra gold next turn. Chocolate, is it worth the purchase? It gives us some gold potentially if we manage to get one of these up to level 3, but I don't think it is. Instead we just roll for pita bread and maybe yet another crane. I'm not really sure what we're supposed to be doing right here. I was hoping for yet another oyster, but it seems like we're getting unlucky with both pita breads and oysters, so we're just going to focus on getting another level 2 now. Hopefully not losing this time as well. We are starting to loosen our grip a little bit. We're getting a little weak. Breakpoint is horrific for us, but actually that ends up working wonderfully because it ends up fainting the 3rd in position Weasel as well. Now we get a level 2, which is good. More gold for the future turns. We're still looking for 2 more Weasels to complete the 5 of a kind. Is this worth the purchase? I think it might be. Take that. Do we take a waffle? I think it's worth a waffle as well. And now we must sell the blue ringed octopus in order to avoid getting buffs onto it. Okay, this is looking relatively okay. As long as we don't match into a 50-50 team, I think we should be fine. And yeah, at this point, just pick up the 4th Weasel. Because we're so close to the victory, I think it's worth it to start scaling up the 4th one. We're surrendering the possibility of getting some buy sells of oysters, which can be a bad thing, but it did end up giving us 1 extra gold on distance, so that is 1/3 of the value of an oyster, so that is good enough. Do we want to take a level is the question? I don't think so. I think we look for equipment and only equipment. Yeah, it's kind of painful to be passing all of this up, but we are needing to roll for the 5 of a kind, which is good. We finally have it acquired. Now give us some perks and we're golden. Get it? Golden, because we're playing golden pack. I'll take my leave. Okay, we can take a durian, I guess, for a 50-50. I really dislike the durian. I would rather have like a pita bread or something. Durian I think is 2nd best food though. Is it worth taking? I think so, because what are the chances that we get 5 pita bread for all 5 Weasels? I think we just take it onto one of the weaker ones instead though. It still opens us up to the possibility of getting a pita bread for the stronger Weasels. And here we go. I think this is going to be good. We can freeze this oyster. It's going to be 1 extra gold for the next turn. It can maybe help us get an extra buy sell of a blue ringed octopus in, so that is good news. This is looking super scary, and as you can see the durian isn't super relevant, which is why I wanted the pita bread instead. But I think this is the time where we should be going for the 5 of a kind. The good thing is that we are most likely getting 2 triggers out of the Bird of Paradise, which is absolutely perfect. African penguin I don't think is the play. If we wanted to get a buy sell in, we would do it via a blue ringed octopus or something. 50 HP on a Weasel is super important, so I think I might just purchase this chocolate just for that reason. And that also makes the Bird of Paradise hit all of these pets guaranteed, because this is already a 50-50. Kind of a silly chocolate purchase to be honest with you, but I think it can be relevant. This is also pretty good if we can afford it. I'm not really sure if we can though. We can sell this now. We can buy sell this. We can buy sell this. And would you look at that, freezing the oysters was actually the correct play, because now it allows us to buy sell this as well. And we can get the 5 of a kind completed. Kind of ugly that this is 49 instead of 50. I think it would also be relevant for this to be 50 instead of 49 because there are a lot of teams like this one, which are Bird of Paradise Scout. But we can just try our luck and hopefully win. If we don't win, we're going to start falling off a little bit because we only have 2 strong units with this team. So we really want to be facing something like a weak summon team in order to defeat them. This is also good. We get to trade multiple good stuff. The Duran is doing good work. Actually, both of the Durans are doing amazing work, so I am very glad that we purchased them. And we end up with a 5 of a kind Weasel. I don't know how well I played all of this, considering that we're down to a single heart, but I'm quite happy with this run. Like, every purchase felt methodical. I'm not typically super good with golden packs, so I am quite happy with this victory. And if you are as well happy with it, I really hope that you like, sub, do all the generic stuff, and I will talk to you next time. Take care!